What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sly Geordie, and welcome back to F1 25 Driver Career Mode for the British Grand Prix. That's it. Our home race is upon us. I think this is our third home race of the season if you count the engine supplier and the team itself. But if you missed last episode, it was the Austrian Grand Prix, and what a chaotic Grand Prix that was. With two red flags. And us fighting for the win for most of the race, it really does show that this car is a lot better than the progress history shows. Of course, the grid is pretty close. You know, we're pretty much on par with Ferrari and nearly Mercedes now, but we were able to fight decently against the McLaren and Max Verstappen. But of course, once Verstappen got past us, I wasn't really going to fight it tooth and nail. Since, you know, we're part of the same umbrella. So Verstappen gets another win, increasing his lead in the driver's standing, starting to run away with it. Lando Norris made a couple of mistakes. I could give him an excuse for the first one when he rammed into the back of us, but the second time ramming into the back of us, yeah, I don't know. I can't say that was, you know, I can't give him the benefit of the doubt for my driving when he's the one who's braking way too late and then choosing to pit with that slightly broken wing, because it was only minor damage, one of the wing flaps. He pitted with 4 laps to go, so threw away a lot of points there, even if he may have lost it to Hamilton later on, maybe, but I don't know. I just think it was the wrong decision from McLaren there, and Lando's took a big hit for it. Either way though, Lewis Hamilton is in P3 of the driver standings. We've moved up into P4 after Piastri DNF'd in Canada, and we finished ahead of him in Austria. I think he'll be overtaking us pretty soon, we'll see, because the next couple of tracks, they're pretty strong in terms of speed as well, although Silverstone has a lot more corners, so it's a lot more of a technical track, which means we might struggle a little more. Historically, I've struggled a little more at Silverstone, so we'll just see what happens. But of course, we're ahead of Leclerc now. Sonoda still hasn't caught up to us, and obviously Mercedes, they're having a nightmare season. Antonelli was able to get some points in the last round. I think he got a P10. He got a P10 in Canada as well, and a P10 in Monaco, so he's been picking up a few points finishes here and there. Obviously still waiting for a driver ratings boost. Piastri, driver rating boost or not, is the unluckiest driver this season with 3 DNFs. Hopefully he doesn't get any more. I feel like the game is being a little unfair if he gets more than 3 DNFs in a season. We'll have to see. But as for R&D in progress, we have nothing coming into the British Grand Prix. We've got 300 R&D points, but nothing to spend it on other than some powertrain upgrades, which I'm not going to spend any more on the powertrain. Like, we're top in the vehicle performance comparison, so I'm not really going to touch it. I want to focus on the aero and the chassis. Those are the areas that need improvement the most. And yeah, either way, it's time to get into the British Grand Prix. Oh, and just like I said last episode, this is going to be the only time we're going to be going around the normal layout for Silverstone. Silverstone, I actually am not a huge fan of, to be fair. Maybe it's because I'm just not good at it, but I've never really liked Silverstone too much compared to the rest of the tracks on the calendar. Not that it's my least favourite track, it's just kind of a nothing burger for me. I don't really get as excited for it as most people do. But I have seen the reverse layout, and I kind of prefer it. I've even tried it, you know, obviously since I own the game, so I've tried it. I actually prefer it, so I'm really excited to try the reverse tracks in Season 2. In terms of the weather forecast, we're not doing too bad, but we're going to look at the progress history right here. So upgrades going into this weekend. Alpine have got a major upgrade and slingshot ahead of Haas, and are right on par with Williams. And yeah, other than that, Mercedes have a bit of a good upgrade that pushes them ahead of Ferrari. Russell hopefully will be taking advantage of that this weekend. Definitely a really important weekend for him. And Red Bull have a minor upgrade to catch up to McLaren, so that's good. That'll help Verstappen defend his lead in the championship a bit more. We're going to look at our engine components just to see if it's worth changing anything. To be fair, actually, the turbocharger is nearly 50%, and we usually replace them at 50%. And since it is our home GP, I'm going to go ahead and put in this third one right here. After this GP, this will actually be halfway through the season. So that'll be... I still want to push this other turbocharger to 50%. Just to make the most of these. So what I'm going to do most likely is at Hungary, which is a track that we won't need power as much, I'll probably put in that old turbocharger just to save on engine wear a little bit. I'm really looking forward to next episode at Spa, that's for sure. But yeah, without further ado, nothing else to say. Let's get into qualifying for the British Grand Prix.
Welcome along, everybody, to a venue that was built for speed. Once an airfield, now one of the finest racetracks in the world. It's qualifying day here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix.
Well, here we are at Silverstone for the home Grand Prix. This track was updated last year in F1 so yeah, this is definitely going to look just as good as a lot of the other tracks that we have been trying on this game. I want to say sorry for the wait, of course, for this episode. I've been really busy recently getting situated at my new job, and yeah, hopefully now I can get used to the schedule that I'm working at and we can put out some more consistent episodes. But yeah, once again, sorry for the wait. Thank you for waiting, I suppose. And yeah, I do want to say right now, as you know, you watch this, we are, well, I am recording the Spa GP episode. I think that's the next one. So yeah, I'll be doing that one right after finishing up editing this video. But yeah, as we finish up our first lap of Q1 here, I'm not feeling the most confident. Alex Albon actually set a monster lap over a second quicker than us. Maybe that was just an absolutely monster lap from him, because it was good enough for P12 for us, our lap, and yeah, we got a 7/10 improvement there to bump us up to P7, but we would have made it there into Q2 anyway, around the same time as our teammate Isaac Hadjar, who's made it into Q2. No big surprises out in Q1 other than Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin, but the Aston Martin's never been too good anyway, especially in this season. But yeah, going into Q2 now, I'm not feeling, like I said, I'm not feeling the most confident. We certainly don't have as much speed as we've had against the other AI for the past couple of races. Of course, we've been doing really good at tracks like Canada and Austria, of course. But now, yeah, we're in danger of going out. Hadjar actually set a quicker lap than us in the first lap, so we're down into P12. Hadjar will not be making it into Q3. He's just been knocked out by whoever just set a lap, and we're coming around the last couple of corners now. It's a decent improvement for us, about nearly 2/10 as we cross the line in P10. So yeah, at least we made it into Q3, so that gives us a good chance there, but we only just made it. There wasn't that much of a difference between us and Carlos Sainz, and well, to be fair, it was just between me and Sainz. We had a decent enough gap on the guys behind us, so at the very least that would have been a P11, which is still a good start. But yeah, P10 gives us another chance to set the best lap we possibly can for Q3. So yeah, and one of the surprises going into Q3 actually is Kimi Antonelli. So he's had a really good qualifying. Usually he goes out in, I think, Q2, judging from, well, not judging, but because of his poor driver rating. But Yuki Tsunoda sets the fastest lap of qualifying, and you know me, I always go out last, so that means Tsunoda is on pole for this Grand Prix. Of course, I mean, we could obviously set pole, but we're not going to. The car just doesn't feel quick enough around here. Antonelli's got a P6, really good for him. We're going to cross the line, however, in P10. So there was no real point in doing that lap. Again, the car doesn't feel too strong around here, but Yuki Tsunoda on pole position. He definitely needs a driver downgrade, but it is quite funny to see him up there with Max Verstappen in P5. Perhaps Verstappen's dealing with some engine wear. Who knows? Russell's got a really good qualifying position, but without further ado, it's time for us to go to the race.
Welcome to not only the home of British motorsport, but also the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone, a classic on the calendar, and it's time for the British Grand Prix. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. I love being here at Silverstone. I know you do too. Mainly because we get to sleep in our own houses for a week. But what do the drivers enjoy most about this track?
Well, Silverstone's such a challenging circuit, Crofty, more so for the car than the driver, because these high-speed corners at Silverstone really test this modern-day F1 machinery to its maximum. We don't get that many times throughout the calendar. I can only think of Suzuka and Spa, maybe Qatar as well, with that high-energy cornering that you get here at Silverstone. So the drivers love throwing the car around through corners like Copse, Maggots and Beckett's, for example, and it's really influential for your lap time as well.
Right, mate, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but I want you to treat it like any other race. Let's not make any unnecessary risks, please.
All right, whatever. Okay, so we got two strategies here, but the times are so vast between the two of them that obviously the only choice for us is to go mediums to hards, which has always been a pretty good strategy for us this season whenever we've gone for it. So I am feeling pretty confident about it, and we usually get a good start against the AI, so we could jump up a good number of positions here. If we don't get boxed in, of course. It is a pretty narrow start to the Grand Prix. It's not like Bahrain, of course, where you have a lot of space to work with. A lot of the tracks in modern Formula One, way too narrow to make some amazing overtakes at the start. Perhaps F1 26 will be very, very different. Of course, the cars will be smaller, so who knows? But we're going to get a good start here as we now wait for the 5 red lights to go out. Yuki Tsunoda is going to be leading the way. And here we go. And it's a poor start for Leclerc, also for Albon and Hamilton. And we might be able to push out ahead of all of them. Antonelli, though, slows down a little bit. Hamilton looking to go around the outside. We've had to slow down because of the cars fighting up front. And now Alex Albon is looking to regain that position. So the Williams is a very similar car to ours this season. So he's definitely going to be a bit challenging, and obviously we want to get in front of him and catch up to our driver ratings rival, which is Kimi Antonelli. So yeah, so far so good. That's a P8 from a P10, so that's 4 points on the board if we stay in this position until the end of the race. But obviously I know we can catch Antonelli. Antonelli has been slower all season, so we'll see. Obviously he does have the quicker car, and Silverstone does rely a bit on pace, but then again we have some really good pace in terms of like Canada and Austria. But Silverstone, of course, is very, very different. Silverstone is a lot more technical than those two tracks, so it really will come down to how good our aero and chassis are, which are not strong points to the cars. So don't expect any high flying podium finishes this weekend. I mean, you could obviously already guess it from qualifying, and the fact that Albon has almost overtaken us. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. But Antonelli seems to have already lost the train in front of him, so that's a really good sign as we now go on to lap 2. We'll be getting DRS very soon, so that's really good. Meanwhile, however, Yuki Tsunoda, leading the race here, is slowing down. This is the earliest retirement I've ever seen. There's no smoke coming out the car, so it might also be the strangest. But Yuki Tsunoda, in heartbreaking circumstances, the very first pole position of his career, retires from the race on lap 2. Doesn't even seem to get a chance to keep that position. And that's not good at all, because Verstappen is the car behind both McLarens, so he'll be struggling. But we need to put that out of our mind as we now look to still catch up to Antonelli. Moving on to lap 4, Charles Leclerc is coming through the field. He has now overtaken Albon. It's another poor start for the Ferraris, of course. Hamilton right at the back of that pack in front of us, and Leclerc only just jumping up to P8 now as we spend all of our ERS that we possibly can for a dive down the inside on Kimi Antonelli. It's side by side here. It's getting a little bit dicey. A little push to the outside from us there as we tried desperately to stay on the racing line. And there we go with the pass. P6 for us at Silverstone. And that seems to be the peak that we're going to be able to reach here, as the cars in front are 4 entire seconds ahead. But I tell you what, these mediums are not feeling the greatest. The tyre wear is quite high around here. It's very sunny weather, and because of that, I'm not really surprised to see Max Verstappen spin out. Or maybe I am surprised. It's Verstappen, of course. He very rarely makes mistakes. Maybe he got a massive whiff of dirty air, but that is going to be a huge step back, as he is now right at the back of our train. In fact, he's just in front of the train behind us. And yeah, like I said, tyre wear really high. We're really feeling it, as Charles Leclerc now easily has more grip than us. A little squeeze from us there. I didn't mean that, but it doesn't matter anyway. Look at the amount of grip Leclerc has versus us here. I've never been too good at saving my tyres, and Silverstone seems to be the most demanding one that we've had. So maybe we should have gone for the other strategy. Maybe we should have tried to work something out. But we're now fighting side by side with Charles Leclerc. There's contact as Leclerc hits us around the outside. And maybe, I've got to say, that is just completely our fault. I really should have backed off. Clearly we had no grip compared to Leclerc. And now we have to fight back to make sure that we keep even P6 against Antonelli. We were lucky to even have DRS. So, yeah, very lucky to keep P6 there, but it won't matter anyway. The tyre wear is so high on that front left that Antonelli is going to have an easy overtake. The thing about the back straight here at Silverstone is it's very technical right at the beginning with Maggots and Beckett. So if your tyre wear is high, like it is for me, 77%, yeah, that's going to really put you on the back foot on the straight. Especially if you don't have any DRS, as Alex Albon has now overtaken us. Lap 11, I can't get off these tyres soon enough. I think we were supposed to go a bit later, but these tyres will not last any later. They are, quite frankly, in puncture territory. So I don't know if we have to drive more conservatively or not. Usually we don't have to when it comes to the hards, so we'll see what happens here. But here in sunny Silverstone, it seems to be uncharacteristically high on tyre wear compared to the tracks that we've already done this season. I would have thought that, you know, we would have had more tracks that are more demanding, but Silverstone seems to be at that sweet spot where it's not demanding enough to be viable for a two-stop, but it's at the same time it's not safe enough to feel comfortable, you know, pushing as much as we usually do on the other tracks. It's a weird one, and maybe that's why I've always struggled around it, and maybe that means we need to change something going into the next Silverstone Grand Prix. Maybe that comes down to the difficulty, maybe it comes down to how demanding the tyre wear is on this particular track, or maybe it means I just need to drive more conservatively. I don't know. But as we go on to lap 13 now, cars coming out ahead of us, cars coming out behind us, they are on 2-lap fresher hards, which is just not good for us at all. We're going to want to get in front, and Albon, despite us pitting early, is actually further out ahead of us now that he's come out of the pits, so it's really not a good sign for us at all. It seems as though our car doesn't particularly have the pace in general, tyre wear or not, and Antonelli was even out ahead of us at one point there, and we had to send one around the outside to even stay ahead of him. But now we're on to lap 14. We've got a pretty good run through Maggots and Beckett's here. Tyre wear is not an issue at this stage of the race. It will be soon though, and I want to be in front of Albon by the time that does happen, as we overtake the Williams man for P6 here, and that is going to be, like I said earlier, our peak. The train in front of us seems to be quite far ahead, 12 seconds ahead in fact. Leclerc, lonely race out in P5, so he'll be a bit frustrated that he had such a bad qualifying. But now going on to lap 18, the tyre wear is really hitting. I've had to be really aggressive with Albon there. Antonelli equally as aggressive, banging tyres with Albon. So much so, I think Albon went off track a little bit because Verstappen is now in P8. So I'll be hoping Verstappen can get past Antonelli because Antonelli is being super aggressive with us there, going around the outside of Copse there. He's had to slow down and give that position back. We give him a little bit of a tap just to show my displeasure. But now going on to the straight, yeah, tyre wear's really kicking in now. A lot of these guys are 2 lap fresher on those hards. So, yeah, we're pretty cooked at this point. Lap 18 is both, as all three, Verstappen, Antonelli and Albon overtake us. We're going to dive on the inside of Albon just to make sure we stay ahead. But this is the start of, quite honestly, the most miserable race I have ever had on a Formula 1 game. As 2 laps later, or 1 lap later because we were going on to 19, Esteban Ocon in the Haas overtakes us. So it's been a pretty good race for him. He'll be getting points. And next up is Pierre Gasly getting some really important points for Alpine. But yeah, our tyre wear is completely off the rails at this point. I'm trying so hard to keep these positions, but we're really just holding cars up at this point. Alex Albon overtaking us. Lance Stroll, it's been a really good race for him, coming from P19 up into what will be most likely very close to points. Who knows what will happen there. Of course, Albon will be leading that pack, and Stroll might be able to overtake him, as he does, as you saw there. And at the same time, we've just been overtook by both Doohan and Behrman. So we've fallen down as low as P15, and this is basically where it's going to stay. Maybe we should have gone for a more aggressive tyre strategy and, you know, made the most of it, and perhaps maybe held up a pack in one of those stints to make up the time we would have lost from extra pit stops. But yeah, that was the most miserable race I have ever had on an F1 game. As we now look towards the front, Lando Norris wins the British Grand Prix, and his teammate Oscar Piastri just about able to keep P2, holding back the Mercedes of George Russell. That will be a very important podium for him. Lewis Hamilton coming home in P4, followed by a very lonely Ferrari in Charles Leclerc, and Max Verstappen will be coming home in P6. Yeah, a race to forget for him after that mistake, the spin. He'll be happy that Red Bull will be happy they at least got P6. Max will be pretty frustrated about it. Antonelli, strong P7 for him. Ocon, another points finish. Gasly, very important finish for him. Lance Stroll, pretty underrated drive from him, coming from P19 up into gaining a point here. I think that might be his first point of the season. I don't know, but as for us, like I said, that was the most miserable race I have ever had on the F1 game, and I just want to cross the line here. Definitely should do some tweaking in terms of maybe the AI difficulty in future and our strategy, maybe a mix of both. I don't know, but yeah, that was definitely the most difficult race of the season for us to stomach, and it came at our home race of all places. Just absolutely miserable.
Checkered flag, and our winner has landed. It's Lando Norris for victory.
To come here and take victory as a team today on home soil was so important. You can see how much it means to them. The drivers there doing their part, the team's strategy was perfect as well, and the fans really embraced that. What a great atmosphere we had here today.
From lights out to the checkered flag, each and every driver has this moment in the back of their mind. Now it's time for their celebrations. Our podium, it awaits. He holds the trophy aloft, and why shouldn't he? A richly deserved win today for Lando Norris.
Well, that's a pretty important result for all three involved there on that podium. Piastri will be looking to catch up to Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. Lando Norris desperately needed that win after how bad Austria was. And George Russell, well, Mercedes' worst season in a very long time. That would be a very important result for him, and very important being at the home race for him. But yeah, as for us, that was just a complete unravelment. Our pace looked all right, as if the tyres were good, and yeah, maybe I should have saved them a bit more. I don't know how I would have been able to, though. I had cars around me the whole time. Maybe our pace, maybe the car, maybe we just pushed it far beyond its limits today, and yeah, resulted in our first pointless finish of the season. So yeah, we'll be looking for some redemption next time out at the Spa GP, which has always been a really strong race for us, a really strong circuit for us, and is definitely a lot more balanced in terms of the tyre wear, and a little bit more technical as well. So we'll see what happens. But guys, cheers for watching this episode of F1 25 Career Mode. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next episode. And until then, peace.